Are you looking for peace of mind at your doorstep? Look no further. With the Blink Video Doorbell, your home's entrance is always within your control. Check out the link in the video description to learn more and get your Blink Video Doorbell on Amazon. Your home is in your hands.
Furious locals who orchestrated mass anti-tourism protests across the Canary Islands earlier this year have issued a warning to British travelers as they vowed to target main holidaymaker areas over the summer break. Tens of thousands of people took to the streets of Tenerife on April 20th, with roughly 200,000 protesters thought to have taken part in mass demonstrations across the island archipelago. The protests, organized by various groups including Friends of Nature of Tenerife, ATN, aim to discourage foreign holidaymakers, while also compelling councils to introduce new legislation aimed at protecting the islands from the effects of an ever-expanding tourism industry. But the groups claim their demands have fallen on deaf ears and as a result are gearing up for another explosive demonstration. We have decided to take to the streets again. This time we will take to the streets in the very center of this development model, in the main tourist areas, a statement from ATN read. We ask people to continue fighting from every corner of the islands against this unjust model that is destroying our lives and our territory. The statement published by ATN called on residents of all the Canary Islands to unite once again to protest what they see as negligence by councils that have allowed large tour operators to buy up real estate, drive up prices, and make life unbearable for locals. On April 20th, the largest demonstration in the history of the Canary Islands took place. This would make us think that a few months later, we would have at least seen a change of direction by the governments at the head of the archipelago's institutions, but nothing has changed. Far from responding to the more than 200,000 people who took to the streets demanding a change in the economic and social model for the islands, the island governments have not hesitated to systematically reject their demands. They continue to see our natural spaces as places to exploit for tourism, it read. To achieve the changes we are asking for, governments need to focus on the people, on nature, and on the heritage of these islands, and not on continuing to do business at the expense of the territory, taking away people's quality of life. To the government of the Canary Islands, the island councils, the town halls, the tourist lobby, we warn you of one thing. You will not silence us, and our protests will only increase if immediate measures are not taken to stop the profound environmental and social deterioration that the Canary Islands are experiencing. The group concluded, get to work for the common good, and understand that you cannot continue doing so unilaterally and turning your back on the people. We will be present in the design of the new model that these islands deserve, collectively and with real participation. There is no other way. The campaigners claim that the huge influx of tourists to the island is causing major environmental damage, driving down wages and squeezing locals out of cheap affordable housing, forcing dozens to live in tents and cars instead. One female protester at the march in April held up a sign which read, 14 million tourists a year, but 36% of Canarians at risk of poverty. Female protesters previously revealed that they had been harassed and threatened by tourists, and no longer feel safe in their homeland as the streets were flooded with foreigners reveling in drunken debauchery. I wouldn't go to the south of the island alone, it is not safe for young women, one protester told the Express. Another activist, Celia Quintero, 15, claimed they are pressured in school to accommodate British tourists. Speaking to the Daily Express, she said that you had to learn English at school with lessons like maths even being taught in the language because you have to know English because we rely on tourism and to stay safe. Celia also revealed that she was recently harassed by a group of German tourists to the extent that she was forced to hide in a bar just to get away from them. An estimated 50,000 citizens in Tenerife took to the streets of the Atlantic archipelago in April to protest against the problems caused by mass tourism and demand their politicians take action. Demonstrators packed into Whaler Square in the Tenerife capital Santa Cruz, the start point for a march on the Brit popular holiday island, just before midday on April